Hi, good morning. It's May the 12th here at Carriere Family Farms. Traditionally, we've been outside, but our construction project, which if you go to our LinkedIn or our YouTube, you'll see is quite impressive at this point, and they have banned us from that area. So we're going to discuss the April shipping report, which has a unique add-on, which is the commitments. And I think that piece is super important to us as an industry because we say, well, we've only shipped this much, but have we sold the other piece of those commitments? And Josh, your take on that has been?
If you take the numbers of shipped plus committed, we really are looking like we've oversold as an industry here in California. Some of that we anticipate will be packed into new crop, but we really are going into fumes as we head into harvest here in a couple months.
Absolutely. And so for what that looks like on the domestic market side is probably what it's very similar to your export side is domestically, if you haven't contracted your needs through the summer month, things may look pretty scary as we start to approach harvest. And it appears industry-wide we are completely committed and sold out of any type of half and piece, especially Chandler, followed by light, and there seems to still be some combo availability, but with where we're at as an industry, who knows how long that's going to last.
And on the export side, we're also seeing going to be seeing the same issues where we simply just don't have much to offer at this point. Coverage is going to be hard to find if you haven't been in contract already. So we're really hoping that if you need something, you reach out to us as quickly as possible, and we'll try to do our best to help. Things have been shipping out much better than they have previously.
Yeah.
You've seen shipments get a lot better as far as availability on vessels?
Yes, shipments have been getting out a little bit more smoothly. We've seen less issues with container availability, but we have seen higher shipping cost, and unfortunately those will parlay into different markets where that may be the difference between yes or no on a walnut decision.
In addition, COVID here has gotten quite a bit better. Vaccines are pretty available to almost anybody at this point in the United States. However, one major concern we're having right now is India. Obviously, right now there's a big issue as far as cases rising and the death tolls going up. But we have additional concern on what that's going to do to the market going into new crop and demand coming from India, them being one of our biggest buyers right now. We're really kind of nervous on how that's all going to turn out.
Absolutely. Well, and we have to take into consideration that in addition to having the high tariffs into India, which has already been a little bit of a speed bump to get over, is now we have this huge crisis going there with health concerns and their availability to receive simple things like oxygen and vaccines, and that may take precedence over any other import coming into those countries for quite some time, and how that will long-term play out into the tree nut market is yet to be seen.
Yeah. And in addition to the tariffs, this year was a lot easier for India to buy because prices were so low. We're expecting prices to really jump into new crop, and if that happens, the tariff plus the effects of COVID and the higher prices, it really might get challenging for India to purchase walnuts from California or anywhere for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then in addition to that, not only is California seem to be running on fumes, it looks like Chile and China are both headed that direction as well. We've had some early reports from Chile that their shipments are about 60% at this point, whereas last year at this time they were closer to about 40%. So they've really been moving as well. They've had a shorter crop, and their prices I think have really gone up as well.
Right. They came out pretty strong, I think, with pricing this year compared to California pricing. And we all know that Chilean kind of has that paradise area to grow walnuts in. Color typically looks amazing for them. So they do get to have that piece of the market. But in addition to that, with the US being out of halves and with being out of Chandler, it's really put them in a great selling position this year to move their crop quickly and at fairly strong prices. And again, we're going to look at everybody coming into the U.S. harvest on steam.
And as far as the new crops going, it looks like our crop is healthy, but we do have some concerns for especially the Chandler crop. There have been quite a few reports of high frost damage in some areas. We didn't see too much here. In our orchards, we've had water going, so that kind of eliminates the risk of frost. But in some areas where people have not been irrigating, we've seen some orchards totally devastated. Whereas normally we'll see some frost in the top of the tree. This year we're seeing it get down into those lower limbs and almost kill some trees. So we're a little concerned on how that's going to look. And then the nut set too has been a little different.
Yeah, that's been, what we've seen so far is some varieties appear to have different varied sizes of a nut set going on, which is made for a strange looking tree. So how those will actually continue to grow will remain to be seen. But we also saw a lot of singles, doubles, not so much on the triple or quad sets. And then we have Central to Southern California, and not just walnuts, but almonds as well, are not sure how the drought will play out into their ability to supply water to those crops.
Yeah, and typically if we don't have water, that means higher temperatures throughout the summer, which ultimately turns into maybe some darker material coming out, which will be even more of a challenge for new crop and getting those good quality Chandler kernels out and available. So that should also probably have a little bit of an impact as we get into new crop as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we have more combination this year, that's again going to put even further tightening on the availability of light product.
We're going to reach out to our farm team, and they're going to give us a little update in the orchard so you can actually see what they're seeing today.
All right, welcome back to the ranch. Today we're going to be checking out the nut size progression, 3 different varieties that we're growing out here, the Hartley, Howard, and Chandler, and just to give you guys some visual insights on what we're seeing this year and how the crop is looking. Right here we're in a Hartley orchard on our main ranch. As you can see, our nut size are about the size of your thumb. Overall, I would say the crop is going to be about average. We've seen a lot of doubles this year, not that many triples, and a few more singles than we'd like to see. So I think our hopes this year is just kind of have an average crop out here in the Hartleys. All right, now we're in a Howard block on our home ranch. Overall, the Howard bloom looks much more uniform than what we've seen in the Hartleys and the Chandlers. We're still not seeing a whole lot of crop potential, and we do have quite a few doubles, but still seeing a few more singles than we'd like to see. But overall, things are progressing nicely, and it looks like it's probably going to be somewhat of an average year for the Howard variety. All right, now we're in a Chandler block. A lot of the Chandler blocks that we have throughout the valley have seen somewhat of a staggered bloom. This, however, is one of our more uniform blooming blocks that we have on the ranch, so it gives us a better indication on the progression of the nut size that we have currently. As you can see, there's really not a whole lot of difference between these and the Hartleys. They bloom fairly close together, and they're harvested about 4 days apart. So it is something that you would expect to see looking at a Chandler as opposed to a Hartley.
Also, we'd like to ask, if you are reviewing this market report from Carriere Family Farms, we would love to know what you're seeing in your market. That really makes a difference for us in how we can be the best business partner moving forward.
Thank you all for watching, and as always, if you have questions, interests, or anything, as Amy mentioned, please feel free to reach out and share that with us. Thank you.